Greetings to all of you. I want to talk about the energies of the upcoming new moon on December 1st. And I think this is a significant lunar cycle in that this will be our first new moon following Pluto's movement fully into Aquarius on November 19th. As I described in my earlier video, I see that as the threshold of our stepping more fully into the Aquarian age and into these new paradigms and new ways of being. So this new moon is guiding us in how to be seeding those new paradigms, these new forms that we're moving into. It's giving us wisdom and guidance about how to be in this time of transition and transformation. So let's look at the chart and see what guidance it has for us in this time. The new moon will be on December 1st with the sun and moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. We see that Pluto has now moved fully into Aquarius and is still at 0 degrees of Aquarius and is still in opposition with Mars. Now from Pluto in Aquarius, Mars in Leo. Formerly, they were in opposition when Pluto was still in Capricorn, opposite Mars in Cancer. But this is a powerful ongoing opposition that's guiding us to have our actions, Mars, our personal will, our ways of expressing ourselves, Mars, be in alignment with Pluto in Aquarius, these energies of divine will of cosmic consciousness supporting us into the Aquarian age. And Mars in the sign of Leo supports us in coming from our hearts with courage, in being in expression of our own personal selves in alignment with that energy of Aquarius, and also supporting us in how we are in community in these ways that are about the paradigms of the Aquarian age. I also think it's significant that Pluto is now conjunct Ceres in an out-of-sign conjunction. And Ceres is that asteroid that has to do with our relationship with the Earth. And I believe this is showing us that we are experiencing Earth changes as we're moving into the Aquarian age. And we are needing to change how we are in relationship with the Earth and the natural world around us. And it's significant that Ceres is conjunct Venus right now, which I think both speaks to how we're transforming our relationship with the natural world to, as Elizabeth Sahtouris would say, move into maturity, come back into interdependence and collaboration with the species, the life forms around us, instead of acting out of that survival of the fittest mentality, conquer or be conquer. I think this configuration is also telling us that we need to transform how we act to be more nurturing and supportive to each other. Venus conjunct Ceres. It's also significant that this new moon is in a T-square. It is opposite Jupiter in Gemini, squaring Saturn in Pisces. I think this T-square is significant in giving us some guidance about this time of transition that we're in. Remember, the deeper meaning of Sagittarius is about how are we on our spiritual journey. Remember that Sagittarius is the constellation of the archer with the bow and arrow, with the tip of the arrow pointing at the galactic center. This new moon in Sagittarius is guiding us to keep our focus on source to realize we are on a spiritual journey, and it's guiding us in its opposition with Jupiter to have faith in this process that we're in. And Jupiter in Gemini is supporting us in how we are in this exploration and adventure of gaining in knowledge and understanding. And I also see Gemini as that sign that is about the twins and how we hold the polarity of the light and the dark, of immortality, mortality. How are we having faith to integrate those polarities within us? It's also significant that Jupiter in Gemini is opposite Mercury in Sagittarius. They're in each other's signs that they naturally rule, which means that they're learning how to integrate each other's energies to move out of an opposition of Sagittarius and Gemini into an integration of those energies. And Gemini is the sign that is about knowledge and how we use our analytical minds. Sagittarius is the sign that is about our right-brained ways of knowing and our more intuitive, integrative ways of understanding. So I also see this powerful configuration with the new moon, Mercury, and Jupiter as how are we integrating our knowledge with spiritual understanding and wisdom? How are we reintegrating left brain, right brain ways of knowing and allowing ourselves to move into new paradigms that are more grounded Saturn in our spiritual understanding, Pisces. Remember also that Saturn is the planet that is associated with the root chakra. So we're meant to find our foundation and our grounding in our connection with spirit and in our remembrance of the oneness of all that is. And Jupiter is associated with the second chakra. So Jupiter is supporting us in having faith in this time of transition that we're in. The second chakra is where we hold our trauma, hold our fear. And Jupiter is guiding us to have faith and to, in its opposition with all this energy in Sagittarius, to remember that we are on a spiritual journey and being held by these energies larger than ourselves. As we look now at some of the Kuiper Belt objects and other dwarf planets that are important at the time of this new moon, I think it's very significant that all 4 of the healing centaurs are active at the time of this new moon. We have Chiron in Aries trining the sun and moon. Chiron in Aries is supporting us in how we're healing our sense of self. I also think it's about how we're healing our out of balanced paradigms that are still connected with the age of Aries and that out of balance expression of Mars. We have Nisus at 16 degrees of Pisces squaring the new moon at 16 degrees of Pisces. It's guiding us in our healing our ancestral wounds, to let go of that lineage trauma that would pull us out of balance and supporting us in dissolving that in order to coming more into the wholeness of who we are. Chariklo at 13 degrees of Aquarius is sextiling this new moon and sun. Chariklo in Aquarius, guiding us in how to be in healing community with each other. And Chariklo is that energy of holding compassion, that capacity to truly hear and see each other, to not be in judgment of each other or in conflict with each other, but to truly hold that empathic attunement with and for each other. And the 4th centaur, Pholus, here at 8 degrees of Capricorn is squaring the lunar nodes, along with this combination that has been in conjunction for a number of months now, Quawar, Volus, Ixion, and now also Pallas Athene. So Pallas Athene squaring the lunar nodes is supporting us in trusting in our intuition and our creative intelligence and capacity to move into these new forms. And as I've talked about before, I think this combination of Ixion, Volus, Quawar is how do we heal those ways that we've been operating out of ego, Ixion, out of impulsivity, reactivity. How do we heal Volus to come back into harmony, Quawar, and that capacity to be in right relationship with each other and all that is? I think it's highly significant that Ixion is now exactly squaring the lunar nodes. It's applying to the South Node in Libra, guiding us in how to move out of ego, out of that sense of separation and self-absorption and impulsivity and greed and desire to pursue our own ends no matter what the consequence, guiding us back into balance, guiding us back into right relationship in order, North Node in Aries, to move into new forms. So all 4 healing centaurs are activated in this new moon, saying to be in this process of transition, to move into the age of Aquarius. We need to heal what's in the shadows. We need to heal the ancestral wounds, the trauma and pain from our past, so that we're not mired in fear or blocked from moving into the new forms of the Aquarian age. And let me share with you the meaning of the Sabian symbol of this new moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. Let me summarize the degrees that are about this segment of the sign of Sagittarius that range from 6 to 10 degrees of Sagittarius. The meaning of these degrees is about our participation in community, in collaboration with each other, to help us to become more receptive to the awareness of our subtle emotions and to learn how to identify our authentic, true self and awaken to hidden energies, hidden potentials within us. And we do so by actively engaging in this journey of transformation and listening to the clues within and the clues coming to us from cosmic consciousness. We are in a time of transition and transmutation. We're being guided to heal so that we can move into our true, authentic selves, so that we can, in community, support each other in that, so that then we can listen to the guidance, to the clues, to the messages that are coming to us about this time of transition and transmutation. And let me show you where this new moon is in the sky, because in a powerful way, it's guiding us more fully into how we can work with this time of transition. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, I think our ways of working with astrology will be shifting and changing. So much of modern Western astrology now is embedded in working with the tropical zodiac. And yet the tropical zodiac has been fixed in time during the age of Aries and hasn't factored in the movement of precession, so that the planets in the degrees that they're in the signs in the chart, are about 24 degrees from where they actually are in the constellations in the sky. And I think as we move into the age of Aquarius, we're going to move more and more fully back into visual astrology, into reconnecting with the sky, honoring the movement of precession. The sidereal zodiac factors in precession, but it still has these arbitrary 30-degree segments for each sign of the zodiac. But when we attune to the energies of the sky and where the sun and moon and planets are in the stars in the sky, it's much more complex and nuanced because these constellations do not keep clear 30-degree boundaries in their relationship with each other and in their placements in the sky. So I think as we move into the Aquarian age and we're moving into higher consciousness, it's also guiding us back into reconnecting with the stars and planets in the sky, reconnecting to the wholeness of the sky and not collapsing everything onto the ecliptic. And it's also supporting us in remembering the consciousness of the stars and planets, that as we relate to them in the sky and attune to them, they can be guiding us as to their messages and their wisdom. When we work with a visual astrology, we're working more poetically, imageically. We're utilizing our more right brain ways of knowing. So let's activate all of that as we look at where the new moon is in the sky at the time of this new moon. I think this is very, very powerful that this new moon on December 1st is conjunct the royal star Antares, the royal star of the West, which is the heart of the Scorpion. This is a very powerful star that is about the energies of transmutation. Antares is a part of this energy of Scorpius that's associated with our sign Scorpio, which is about moving through times of transformation, of death, rebirth, into new ways of being. But Antares guides us into our deep process to go to what's beneath the surface, to go into the depths, to be bringing to the surface what we need to bring into the light of consciousness, to be in this time of transformation and transmutation. It guides us through that alchemy of burning away what no longer serves us to move into the true gold of who we are and these new ways of being. So this is very powerful. And it's interesting that Antares is below the stars of Ophiuchus, the great healer, who's supporting us in healing as we're bringing what's been in the shadows into the light in order to be in this time of transformation. It's also significant that Mercury is there at the feet of the great healer. So our ways of thinking, our ways of understanding ourselves and our world is also being healed and transformed. And let's look at where Jupiter and Saturn are in the sky, since they are a part of that powerful T-square with the sun and moon and Mercury. Jupiter, in opposition to the sun and moon and Mercury, is here in the stars of Taurus, between the horns of the bull. It's interesting, the meaning and the symbolism of the horns of the bull change over time. In the most ancient times, this was symbolic of the crescent moon, of being held in the energies of the sacred feminine. Taurus, the age of Taurus, honoring the energies of the sacred feminine and that awareness of the sacredness of all of life. But as we moved into the age of Aries, the horns of the bull became associated with the charging bull and being in conflict, being in that energy of polarization and disconnection and attack, like the conquistadors with the charging bulls. But it's interesting that Jupiter's here between the horns, guiding us to not be caught in that conflict and in that polarization, but to somehow unify those areas of duality within us and the differences between us to come into integration, to come into wholeness within ourselves, and to move out of conflict with each other, and to have faith in our capacity to integrate what's been disparate, to integrate what's been polarized, to move out of conflict into connection and into integration within ourselves. Saturn squaring Jupiter and squaring the new moon is here in the stars of Aquarius. And it's beautiful that Saturn in the constellation of the water bearer of Aquarius is right here, where the living waters are being poured from the urn to the earth. As I talked about in my earlier video, these are the living waters of consciousness, of life, that are supporting us in this time of transformation, that are guiding us to remember who we are, soul selves, having a human experience. So Saturn is helping us stay grounded in and in deep connection with those living waters of Aquarius that are flowing to us to guide us into this new age and into these new paradigms. So where the sun and moon are in the sky, close to that royal star Antares, is speaking to what an intense time of transition and transmutation this is as we move more fully into the age of Aquarius. And remember that Antares is that star that if it manifests in its shadow aspect, if we're not working with it consciously, then the passion and intensity of Antares can be about reactivity and trauma and traumatization. But it's meant to be a star guiding us to dive deep into the waters of transmutation and transformation, that alchemical journey of burning away what no longer serves us, to move into the true gold of who we are, to move into higher consciousness. I see that energy of Scorpio and that royal star Antares as the energy of the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, going through that transmutation to move from one form into a radically new and different way of being. But remember that the caterpillar doesn't know what's unfolding. The caterpillar is guided to grow and take in the nurturance it needs to reach a particular size. And then these energies of transmutation get activated within it. And it goes into the chrysalis and dissolves. The form of the caterpillar dissolves into this soup. And I imagine that the caterpillar in that experience is feeling like everything is dissolving into confusion and chaos and uncertainty. And yet it's significant that it's the DNA within the caterpillar that knows the shape and form of the butterfly that is to emerge. These cells are called imaginal discs that hold the knowing of how to form the body of the butterfly, how to form the wings that will take shape. So the awareness of what it is to become is within the caterpillar, but it has to trust in that mystery and be willing to dissolve and entirely release its form from the past in order to be transformed and transmuted into the butterfly to take wings and take flight. In a similar way, we are going through, as we move into the age of Aquarius, this radical shift from one way of being into a radically new form. We're being guided out of the Kali Yuga, out of this time of forgetting, this time of chaos and disconnection, into higher consciousness. We're being guided out of these paradigms of imbalance, destruction, chaos, back into a remembrance of what it means to live in harmony, to live in interdependence and interconnection with each other and all of life. We're being guided to mature, to grow up as humans and come back into collaboration and community with all of nature and with the life around us. But we have to trust in this journey of dissolution, of letting go, surrendering to what was, being in the soup and being in the mystery and the not knowing what is to emerge. But we also need to trust that that awareness of who we truly are and what we're meant to become is within us. I believe as we're moving into the age of Aquarius and we're in this time where we're being bombarded more fully by solar energies and energies coming from the cosmos, coming from the galactic center, that our pineal glands are being activated. Those inactive junk DNA strands within us are being activated and awakened. And I think it is that junk DNA that holds the memories of who we truly are and of who we are becoming. That is taking shape within us. We can trust in that and trust that we hold that awareness within us and that it's being activated by these energies that are guiding us and supporting us. But we have to be willing to go into the chrysalis, be in this liminal time, this time of mystery, of not knowing, to be fully letting go of the forms of the past and moving into the new paradigms, the new form and shape of who we're meant to be in the Aquarian age. Beings of light, beings of higher consciousness, beings who remember what it means to be in alignment with our soul selves, in attunement with cosmic consciousness, and in right relationship with all that is. That is how we take flight. That is how we move into a radically new way of being. And I think this new moon is guiding us to be in that process of transmutation, to trust it, and also to be supporting each other in it. That as we're in this time of transition, we're surrounded by turbulence and the storminess and the destructiveness of what's unfolding in the collective consciousness. And this new moon is supporting us in not getting caught in fear or mired in the turbulence, but trusting in the journey that we're in, having faith in this process of transmutation and holding each other and supporting each other in that, so that then we can emanate and model those new forms and new paradigms and embed that in the collective consciousness to support the shift, to support the healing transformation on the planet. May we as a community continue to support each other in this time of transformation, to have the faith to be in this time of transmutation, of metamorphosis, so that we can move through this into higher consciousness and support co-creating a new world together. This is a profound time. This is a turbulent time, but it is a time of transmutation. As this new moon is showing us, it is a time of metamorphosis. And we can have faith in that and know that that awareness of who we truly are and who we are becoming is within us, and that it is getting activated by these energies of the sky and the energies of the earth. We are transmuting to move into higher consciousness, to take flight, to remember who we truly are and what we're capable of, and then to manifest that in a healing way on the planet. May we continue to support each other and trust in this journey we're in individually and together, and to know that we're guided and supported by the love and wisdom of the cosmos. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.